This week, after some shocking eliminations, we learned who Matt's final four are, and we're breaking down how Bachelor Nation reacted. Hey guys, welcome back to another Shared News from Home. We have got to talk about Bachelor Nation's thoughts on the latest episode of The Bachelor, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Gabby Ganta and Avery Grooms. You guys, a lot of people had a lot of thoughts this week. Let's just dive right in. All right, first up from Bachelor Nation's very own Demi Burnett, she tweeted, "Mean, completely mean. Congrats on scaring a girl to tears." I have to say, I agree. I mean, we've been saying it all season, but my goodness, not a single friendly face for Heather. Crazy.
Another one from Demi, she tweeted, "Heather for Bachelorette." Okay, so her friend is rooting for her to be on a third version of the show, and there's still, a Bachelorette spot coming up, so maybe that'll be Heather.
Batch girls always love meeting me, parentheses, because my clown ability to entertain. Well, I don't want to know a single one of the people who said mean to Heather. Heather wouldn't condone this. I will say, kiss my. They were way too mean, especially for being anti bullying and saying they were going to be nicer. We did not see any of that. They couldn't have been more awful to Heather, who's like a sweet angel. I felt so bad for her.
All right, next up, Nick Viall tweeted, "Did Victoria, Anna, and MJ give Mean Girl Masterclass before they left?" I have to say, we saw nasty sides of girls who have only been nice up until this point. Like, I was all Team Jasenia, and she was giving her the third degree. So interesting to
Mhm.
see the personalities we don't really know that well at this point.
This user said, "I want to go back to something like Tayshia's Bachelorette season with all the wholesome guys who were cute and supportive instead of this toxicity." Very true. We were so spoiled back then during Tayshia's season because all of the guys were amazing, and now here we are in a season where there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of mean girls and toxicity, and we're just not used to it. We've been spoiled with all the nice guys from Tayshia's season.
These girls should be cast for something else. I just can't put my finger on it. And then we see the Mean Girls. Absolutely. That's the name of the movie they're starring in, basically, is Mean Girls, because that's all I see at this rate.
So this user tweeted, "So is the spirit of Victoria finally gone?" with a picture of Serena C. I don't know if I would put her in the same category as Victoria, but like I said, we were seeing a lot of sides of a lot of people.
Ross tweeted, "Matt, you guys have handled everything thrown at you with grace. Bitch, did you not see how they just treated Heather?" And actually, he didn't see how they treated her. So I thought this was a strange moment too, because on his perspective, they've been taking everything and just kind of rolling with it. But then they've also not been, treating the girls very well who've come through.
Abigail didn't even get a one-on-one date yet, and now Serena gets two. Wow. I know. When Serena got the date, I mean, I was happy for her, but I was like, what happened to Abigail? Why is she not getting a fair chance? But I was sad to see her go.
Anne Marie tweeted, "So awkward, too close, too soon, inappropriate." I have to assume she's talking about Serena P and Matt's date. I have to say, it was truly my worst nightmare. I was with Serena P. The vibes were awkward. It was very stressful. I felt for her during that date.
This user tweeted, "What Serena P sees when she's that close to Matt." Okay, so we have another weekend meme from his Super Bowl performance. That's really funny because that's probably pretty accurate.
Good for Serena P for straight up telling Matt, I hate this date. Yes, good for her. I was very glad she spoke up about that instead of trying to play along because it was already as awkward as it is. So at least she expressed how she actually felt about that because no one really wants to be in that position.
Stacy G tweeted, "I'm sorry, but I was sent when Serena dodged Matt's kiss." I'm sure that was not something Matt was anticipating. I'm glad they were able to bounce back from that date.
Matt talking about he's never stared at somebody so long. Bro, you be staring into people's souls when you kiss. Get out of here. Very true. I think, he meant something a little bit different, connecting on a deeper level. But it's true. We're just going to continue roasting him for kissing with his eyes open because it is definitely weird.
My jaw literally dropped when Abigail didn't get the one-on-one. She honestly deserves better than Matt at this point. I'm so upset for that sweet girl, all the misleading. These were exactly my thoughts. I was like, yay, we finally get Abigail's date this episode. And then when it went to Serena, I was like, man, like, I just really was looking forward to seeing more of her. But Abigail for Bachelorette, maybe.
Beck tweeted, Abigail does not deserve this kind of disrespect. I couldn't agree more. I think all of Bachelor Nation was feeling for Abigail tonight.
Laura said, to be honest, Abigail deserves better, and it's so sick for Matt to keep reaffirming her during group date talks and then not following through. Very true. You could see on her face that she was just really getting over it and, tired of being patient.
Do the girls realize that whoever Matt chooses is going to have to meet Hannah Brown and she's going to know how they talked about Heather? LOL. That is a great point because Heather and Hannah Brown are very good friends, as we know. So it's going to get right back to her, and someone's going to have some explaining to do because basically every girl in that group was pretty mean about the Heather situation. So it's kind of awkward.
Delay tweeted, there is literally no chemistry between Matt and Serena. What the heck? I have to say, I have felt the chemistry before, but I was not feeling it the way I usually do with them tonight. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens next between them.
Nate says Matt loves his Peloton more than Abigail. That's kind of sad. Although they do keep showing him doing his workouts on the Peloton, which is funny. It kind of looks like an ad or a commercial for them.
Why is this the second time this season we haven't seen the group date activity? What are they not showing us? This is another great point. I feel like there's a lot on this season that we haven't seen, just even with character development. I feel like there's a lot of things missing that we haven't gotten. So I don't know why they're not showing us things.
Sarah tweeted, did the producers just run out of date ideas so group dates are now just cocktail parties? This is an interesting take on that too. Of course we won't know. They are doing a fairly good job, I feel like better than Tayshia's season, of making it have that bachelor date energy, with like race car driving we saw tonight and some of the other things. But these group dates have been off all season.
How can you not give Brie the group date rose now? She literally gave up her career. That is very true. I'm sure she was expecting it in that moment because she really opened up to Matt and told her what she did that week. But that's tough because all the girls were opening up and telling Matt amazing things then.
Is Matt worth your career? OMG. I mean, is he? I don't know anymore. Like, career Matt, she took a huge risk with this one. I hope for the best for Brie's future.
Kathleen tweeted, Abigail, this week has been really hard. Matt, why do you say that? Me, why do you say that? I have to say, I think Matt does a really good job during the tough conversations. He's really good at being complimentary, letting people down easy, communicating. But in that moment, I was like, you know what's coming. We know what's coming. Don't ask that question. You know.
Vicky said, you had to wait this long. Matt, do better. Bye. I'm mad. I think Abigail had so many fans throughout this entire season that they were just always rooting for her. And the fact that she went home is just really disappointing for a lot of people.
What was the point in Matt leading Abigail on if he didn't even see a future with her? Another great point. I feel like he didn't need to wait this long, especially for her to bring that up. And then he sent her home. It's like, okay, if she didn't do that, she obviously would have gotten sent home at the rose ceremony. But it's just like, why did we keep her for so long? I felt bad.
Emily tweeted, after 10 plus seasons of The Bachelor, an exit has finally made me crack. And she hashtagged Team Abigail. I have to say, her little interview in the car was absolutely heartbreaking. I think so many people were rooting for her. I'm sure so many people were so sad to see her that upset.
Kayla said, Abigail as Bachelorette, Katie as Chris Harrison. Everyone on Twitter is trying to cast the next few seasons and the next host and just everything. So I'm not opposed to this, though.
I mean, Abigail is unknowingly giving the best audition for The Bachelorette I've ever seen. She really is, and I mean, there's so many people rooting for her, especially for not even getting that much camera time. She has so many fans, like, I hope they're taking this into consideration because we all obviously wanna see it.
Saab tweeted, when Abigail said, I'm the kind of girl that make men realize what they want next, but they never want that with me. I felt that. That was probably one of the most heartbreaking lines I've ever heard. I just wanted to give her a hug and say, that is not true. Your guy is out there. And, Matt doesn't deserve this.
Cece tweeted, why does Rachel keep sniffling like that? Um, that's a good question. I didn't really notice this, but maybe she has like a weird sniffle cry going on. I know, some of the girls just start crying out of nowhere, so maybe they're referring to that.
Matt likes Rachel. This hometown is going to be awkward. I'm speechless. It's gonna be very awkward, and it's very obvious, like, how much he likes her, and I think she'll go far.
Kelly tweeted, Kit sounding like the most mature person on this show at this moment. LOL. Wow. I have to say, she is so young. I do think that played a factor in her leaving. But the way she carried herself through the conversation at the group date and the breakup was very impressive.
Kayla said, I'm a long term investment, quoting what Kit said during her and Matt's talk on the group date. But that's like a good motto, I would think, or a good mantra when you're, dealing with people or relationships or anything. Like, I'm a long term investment. It's very empowering.
Kit says she wants to figure out her career path when she is a professional stay-at-home daughter. I mean, she says all the right things, kinda. I totally agree with her. Her head's, like, in the right places, especially after that breakup. It was sad to see her go, but very well said.
Matt tweeted, Kit is 21, laying out future plans. Matt James is 29 and has no 5-year plan. What are we doing here? I have to say, I think Matt does have his life in a pretty good place right now. His career is going pretty well. Now he's looking for love. So maybe I'd give him a little bit of a break, but that is funny.
Kev said, Matt, when Kit was laying out her 5-year plan. So the meme seems a little stressed. She's trying to figure out, where he ends up in her future. And it just wasn't a match. And that's what Kit came down to.
Matt has officially lost his mind. What is he doing with Rachel? No wonder Chris didn't want to say anything. Yeah, I know. When he pulled her away for some extra one-on-one time after her getting the rose, I was just like, ugh, here it comes. I didn't understand that either. I thought other people deserved more time as well, but he clearly wanted to spend it all with Rachel, so that's what he did.
This Twitter user tweeted, damn, aloe black fancy. I have to say, a lot of the time, I'm not sure who these musical acts are, or I don't really care, but I was excited to see him. That was cool. Good for them.
Eliza said, have we ever seen a circle cry on a group date? I don't think we have. And it was, all because of Rachel getting lots of extra one-on-one time with him. And, the group date went super well. And then the girls were kind of, blindsided by that. So it makes sense. I feel for them.
Kit is really going to see herself out, but she made the right choice for herself. I applaud you, Kit. Me too. I think she also was in the moment okay, we have hometowns next week. It's either I'm about to get engaged and he's going to have to go with this whole plan I have mapped out, or I back out now, which I think was a really mature thing to do. And the way she did it was great.
Sarah tweeted, Kit self-eliminated because she knew Cynthia Rowley wasn't traveling to Nemacolin. I thought this was funny. I thought if she had just held on a little longer, we all may have gotten to see a little more of Cynthia Rowley than we usually do. But if it wasn't right for her, it wasn't right for her. We'll have to continue to wonder.
I think Matt's made up his mind on someone. He doesn't seem broken up at all when the others leave. Very true. He said it himself that when he's not with her, he's thinking about her, this being Rachel. So we see a front runner who's been, at the top since the beginning. So she's probably going to keep going even farther with Matt.
In how many months after this season are we going to see an article that Matt and Heather are together? If that was to happen, I wouldn't even be mad about it, honestly. I could see them being a match. It was just wrong place, wrong time.
Christian tweeted, I forgot all about Jasenia. I think Jasenia's had an interesting arc on this show. She's just always kind of been sweet. Then suddenly she was at the forefront of the drama. Then we got a very brief one-on-one, and that was it. Just an interesting character. Sort of whichever one of you said lacking in character development. Jasenia is definitely on that list. I still don't think I know her.
Nick said the dates should have been switched between Jasenia and Serena. It's like Matt doesn't know these girls at all. That's true. I think Jasenia had a good time though. She said she was pretty adventurous, so I think she enjoyed the car racing one. But I wonder how much Matt actually has a say in planning the dates, or if it's just kind of planned for them.
Did y'all forget when Matt tipped over an ATV, but you put him in the position to flip a car? No, I did not forget about that, but I know, right? Why'd they put him in that position?
This Twitter user tweeted, Matt is so checked out with Jasenia. He's wearing a hoodie on the dinner portion. I did not notice this, but you know what? That maybe is actually quite telling, considering he usually has quite the outfits going on.
Indiana tweeted, Jasenia is going home. Matt is in a hoodie. Didn't even give her his signature look, a turtleneck of love. Very true. Again, I didn't notice that either, but clearly Bachelor Nation is picking up on Matt's outfit changes, which is very telling for who he is sending home or not.
Why pick up the rose if you're going to send them home? These were my exact thoughts, and this was not the first time he did this on Jasenia's date. He did it last week too, and it's like, why do you do that to them? Like, she was smiling really hard when he picked up the rose, and then by the end of it, it was just like, she's in the car. So I think that's kind of rude.
Ryan tweeted, imagine thinking you're going to get this rose. I have to say, I'm with you, Avery. It's harsh to pick it up.
This user said, I'm falling in love with you. Thank you for sharing that. They are quoting Matt and Jasenia on their dinner date, and it's tough. You know, I couldn't imagine being in Matt's situation, having to break up with someone after they tell you something like that.
He keeps sending girls home. Are we even going to have a rose ceremony tonight? Right? All of a sudden, it was just everyone at once is out of there.
This user tweeted, anyone else find it odd that Matt is so good at breaking up with women? They all get in the car and blame themselves. Like, how? This is really interesting because I have actually thought that he does a really good job of communicating and like being very gentle during these breakups. But if the women really are all getting in the car and blaming themselves, then that makes me a little sad. We'll have to ponder this.
Allie said, what just happened? You seriously sent Piper home. Who the heck are you? So we clearly have some Piper fans out there. She was so invested in their relationship, so definitely sad to see her go.
Yikes, no conversation or hug goodbye. I'm pretty sure this is about Piper because I was thinking the same thing. It was a very silent breakup and exit. I don't think she said one word. She just got in the car and shut the door.
This user tweeted, Bree's hug to Piper was a real friend hug. I wish they showed more of this. I agree. I feel like we still don't know these women. As weird as I think these friendships dating the same guys are, it is nice to see some of that. And we have not seen a lot of it this season at all.
That's exactly how I would exit too. LOL, go Piper. Very true. The silent exit is, some that few girls do, but it was what she felt she needed to do at the moment. And we have some Piper fans out there again.
Dang, Matt really cleaned house tonight. He really did. And we kind of were anticipating this given hometowns are next week. But it was really just bam, bam, bam. Everyone's out of there.
Connor tweeted, the producers of this show owe a lot of people therapy. Honestly, I've been saying this for such a long time. If you go on The Bachelor, do yourself a favor and take care of yourself when you get off because they put you through the ringer.
I am very pleased with this final four minus Rachel, so top 3. I think so too, and I'm curious to see who Matt picks as his top 3 and top 2 and so on.
Michelle is clearly the most compatible with Matt, but I think he's choosing Rachel in the end. Yes, on paper, I think someone else tweeted this, but like the stats with Michelle and Matt, they have everything in common. And they do have a lot of chemistry, but there's something about Rachel that he's clearly drawn to because we could see it on his face. It's very obvious. So We'll see.
Yes, we certainly will. It's going to be so interesting to see how all of this plays out. I cannot believe we are already at hometowns. You guys, we want to know your thoughts on this week's episode. Were you sad to see Abigail go? Are you happy with the final four? Let us know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell because we will be covering all things Matt James all season long. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the wonderful Gabby Conta and Avery Grooms. If you want to come say hi, our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.